Welcome to Ground Control. I have a cool new product here from First Step RC. This is courtesy of First Step RC. I want to thank them for sending this for review. Okay, this is their beginner helicopter. I'm going to give you all the details on the helicopter, the transmitter. I'll show you everything that comes in the box. But first, let's go out and fly it, and then I'll see you back here at the hangar. See you outside. Okay, first flight of the Heli 101. A couple of things before we get started. The throttle trim switch is for your low rate and your high rate. And your auto takeoff is on the button on the top left, and your auto land is repeating and pushing that button. Now that's just a quick press, because if you hold it down for 3 seconds, that's your emergency stop. So you don't want to hold it down, okay, while you're flying. All right, so let's pull the sticks down, start up the helicopter. There we go. And it was a little breezy out here today. Let me put my lanyard on here. I like the fact that this has a lanyard hook. Okay, so we're going to lift off manually. There we go. We're in low rate. And I'm having to push against the wind here. Bring it up a little bit. Pretty breezy out here. I'd say we've got about a 4 or 5 mile per hour wind right now. But pretty slick little helicopter. Alright, so let's take off. Now I've got full forward stick deflection right now against the wind. The yaw seems pretty good. You know, the yaw feels pretty smooth. Kind of surprises me. Let's see. Okay, there's your yaw and low rate. Okay, so let's fly it around the low rate a little bit. Maybe descend a little bit. Woo, almost hit the tree there. Descend a little bit more. Yeah, that yaw feels pretty smooth. Look at that. That's awesome. Come back around the other way. Not hit myself. Okay, so that is low rate. I want to put it in. Okay, so now it's in high rate. Well, let's see what the yaw looks like in high rate. Bring it up a little bit so you can see it. Yeah, much faster. Pretty slick. Okay, let's see what. Let's bring it back here a little bit. I want to dump it off forward into the wind again, and just see how much more angle we have. Okay, here we go. Yeah, quite a bit more, but it's not so fast that you can't handle it, you know, as a beginner. Oh, look at that. Very, very stable. 4 to 5 miles per hour wind. Cool, huh? Bring it down a little bit so that you can see it. Okay, so dump it over again. Okay, well, that takes off pretty good against a 4 to 5 miles per hour wind. Alright, let's fly it around a little bit. Like I said, I am a beginner when it comes to helicopters. And this is in high rate right now, and I am not having any problem making smooth coordinated turns with the yaw in high rate mode. So I'm pretty impressed with that. A lot of these little micro helicopters with the stock transmitters, it's really hard to get used to the yaw rate on them because it's fairly abrupt, even in low rate. But on this helicopter, that is
that's nice and smooth, and I am not having to work at getting it to turn nice and smooth like I have some other helicopters in the past. This is extremely smooth, so they have definitely gotten the yaw figured out on this helicopter. I mean, look at that. That's awesome. That is not abrupt at all, and this is my first flight with it, guys. So I am pretty impressed with that. It can move fast, but it's not too fast, you know, for a beginner. And you know, when I first heard of this altitude hold stuff on these little micro helicopters, I was pretty skeptical of it. But I can tell you, as a beginner helicopter, having the altitude hold where you're not having to manipulate the throttle so much, that makes it so much easier to fly. Bring it back over here a little bit, but the only thing I'm having to do is push it against the wind a bit, because it is a little breezy out here today. But look at that. That is rock solid, isn't it? So I'm pretty impressed with that. I actually like, for me, I actually like the high rate mode better than I do the low rate mode. Now, that's not always the case for me, because if the yaw rate is a little abrupt in low rate, then it's going to be even more abrupt in high rate. And like I said, this one does not have that abrupt change in the yaw. I mean, that is really maneuverable, and I love the fact that the yaw is smooth on it. Look at that. That's smooth. Let me see if I can do just some real tight circuits with it. Yeah. My first flight with it. I'm pretty impressed. Look at that. That's cool. So if you're looking for a good beginner helicopter, and of course I want to put a couple more flights on it before I give you my conclusion on it, but I can tell you right now that on my very first flight here, I'm pretty impressed with it, especially in 4 to 5 mile per hour wind, and I'm really impressed with the yaw rate on this one. I mean, it is really, really smooth. Look at that. Just exceptionally smooth for a micro helicopter. I don't usually expect that, and I don't usually get that on a stock transmitter, but this one is just super smooth in the yaw, in high rate, no less. So I'm pretty impressed with that. Usually I fly these little, because I am a beginner with these little micro helis, I usually fly these in low rate the vast majority of the time, because it's more comfortable for me to do that. But this one, I don't have any problem flying just as smoothly with this one in high rate as I do a couple others in low rate, which makes it nicer if you're going to be flying in some wind like I am right now, 4 to 5 miles per hour wind. The additional angle on the pitch enables you, see, look at that, I'm going into the wind. The additional pitch in high rate enables you to fly this helicopter in some greater wind and still have a smooth yaw axis than some other helicopters, you know, even in low rate. I mean, the yaw on this is super smooth. So OMP Hobby and First Step RC have done an excellent job on taking the abruptness of the yaw axis out of this micro helicopter compared to some others. I mean, that is uber smooth. And like I said, I'm a beginner with helicopters because I mean, how many helicopter flights have you ever seen me perform in the, what, 4 years that I've had the YouTube channel going? Maybe 2? That's it. So I think this is from what I've seen so far, this is an excellent little beginner helicopter, even in high rate mode, which that's what I'm impressed most about is the stability. The wind is really picking up now. The stability of it in high rate mode, even with the yaw axis. That is absolutely cool. Okay, so let me see if I can set it down in this wind. I don't know how long I've been flying. I don't have my timer with me. But I wanted to demonstrate the first flight with this helicopter. And then I want to bring it back out when the wind is calmer, so that I could better show the capability of it. Okay, so I'm holding the throttle down about 3 or 4 seconds and it'll stop spinning, and then you can pick it up. But right now I'm very impressed with the stability of this little micro helicopter, and I'm especially impressed with the smoothness of the yaw axis, which I don't normally see, even in high rate mode. Okay, so first maiden flight is successful, very successful. I had a lot of fun with it. That's the first time I've ever had this helicopter in the air. I'll meet you back at the hangar and we'll go over the details of this little micro helicopter. See you back at the hangar.
Okay, so what'd you think of my flight demonstration? Not bad for a beginner, because I am a beginner with helicopters. Okay, so let's talk about everything that comes in the box, everything that you get in the box. You get a nice color manual that covers everything for the functions of the helicopter that I'm going to cover here in a second. Oh, did I mention it also comes in purple? Now I have the yellowish green color. They asked me what color I wanted and I chose that one. I think it looks good. Comes with a transmitter, comes with a charger for the battery, comes with a spare set of main rotor blades, comes with a screwdriver, hex wrench, comes with a spare tail rotor blade. It comes with 2 upper control links. These are the links that go from the swash plate to the top assembly of the main rotor blade. I would say those are probably the things that are most likely to break if you crash it, so they included replacements for both of those. And you get 1 battery. Okay, so let's talk about the functions on the helicopter and the transmitter. Okay, so the helicopter has 1 key takeoff, 1 key land. It has a emergency stop function where basically it'll shut everything down and fall out of the sky if you get in trouble. You can switch this transmitter from mode 2 to mode 1 and vice versa. You can calibrate the gyro, and you can start the rotors up manually and take off manually. You don't have to use the 1 key takeoff and land. Okay, so the first thing that you want to do is you want to turn on your transmitter, and then you want to install the battery in the helicopter. And then the first thing that I suggest you do before you start up the main rotor blades. Okay, so once the transmitter is on, the battery is in the helicopter, it's powered up, you're gonna push your throttle stick all the way up, all the way down, and it will bind, the transmitter will bind to the helicopter. Now the next step that you should take, and you want to do this outside, you don't want to do it inside, but before you start turning the rotor blades on the helicopter, calibrate your gyro. You don't want to crash it on your maiden flight because the gyro wasn't calibrated properly. So in order to calibrate the gyro, you're going to push both sticks down and to the left, and then you'll hear a beep. You'll see the LED on the back of the helicopter flash. Once you hear the beep, center the sticks again, and that'll calibrate the sticks. Now, if you want to take off manually, in order to start the main rotor blades, to arm the motors, you're going to pull both sticks down and out. The rotor blades will start going, and then you can use your throttle to take off. If you want, instead of starting the props, spinning the main rotor blade manually and taking off manually, you can press the 1 key takeoff. It will automatically arm the motor, start spinning the prop, and it will come off the ground about 1 meter off the ground, about 3.5 feet off of the ground. And then you're free and clear to navigate from that point forward. If you want to land, you want to push the 1 key land, you can push the 1 key land, and it will land and it will automatically shut down. If you want to land manually, you just, you pull your throttle down, you descend until you're on the ground, and then you want to hold the throttle down for 2 or 3 seconds. Once it's on the ground, hold the throttle down for 2 or 3 seconds, and then it will disarm the motor, and then you can go pick it up. Okay, one of the other functions, mode 1 and mode 2. The button that is on the top right of the transmitter is for switching the transmitter from mode 1 to mode 2. So I think it comes by default in mode 2. So if you're a mode 1 flyer, you want to hold the button down and then power on your transmitter while you've got have the button held down. And then once the transmitter is powered on, release the button. It should switch from mode 2 to mode 1. If it's in mode 1 and you need it in mode 2, you do the same thing. It'll switch from mode 1 to mode 2. I think that's a pretty cool feature, that you can use the same transmitter for mode 1 or mode 2 flight. So it was a good flight demonstration. All the information I just covered was also in the manual, so it's very informative. Make sure you read the manual before you go out and fly. Make sure you calibrate before you lift off. Okay? And let me see, what else? You know that I don't like doing, I very rarely ever do a one and done video of a review of a product. I like to become practiced with the product so that I can better show you the full capability of the product, and it also gives me an opportunity to see if anything crops up, any problems crop up that I can make you aware of. So, and this product is no different. This was our very first video, and there's going to be another one. I'm going to go out and I'm going to perform some more practice flights with it, and then I will submit a review video, at least a review part 2 video, before I give you my conclusion on this little helicopter. That's just the way I like to do things. I like to become practiced with something, put it through its paces before I make a recommendation. If you cannot wait, I will have links for this helicopter in the show notes. So if you're interested in buying it right now, the links are there in the show notes, and I will put it through its paces a little bit more, and then I'll give you my conclusion on this little beginner helicopter. But so far, so very good. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the air.